Okay, we're going to finish off this tutorial. This video might take quite a few minutes, but if you're still with me, you now have 5 different pages, a home page and 4 subordinate pages. These may not be named properly yet. These are titles and not the file names. So to make sure that you change your titles here, you'll have a British, and if they're all British, just make sure that you take a look at your file name here at the top. And to change the name of a page is simply by going to Page Title and Properties under the Format menu. And then just change it up here to whatever it's supposed to be. Click OK, and it'll change here. And remember, you get the red disc just telling you that you haven't saved the page yet. So that works. What I would like you to do for the assignment is to only edit the British motorcycles page and the classic and vintage motorcycles page. This one should probably look a lot like this. Your table borders are gone. You have your information here at the bottom, and that should be good enough. Your buttons work as well. So I don't want you to go further than you did with American motorcycles, Japanese motorcycles, or other motorcycles, because what you're going to do on the British motorcycles page should be sufficient, okay? Because what you want to do next is you want to start thinking about planning your storyboard for your actual website that serves as a final project for the unit. In continuing on this British motorcycles page, what I'd like you to do is to insert a new table, 1 column, 1 row, right here, with a little introduction to British motorcycles. Insert the text that you see here. I'll enlarge the page shortly so you can read it and type it in. Actually, I'll enlarge it now and you can pause it, and then what we'll do is so now that you've typed in this information, make sure that the font kind of matches the font that we have up here, which just happened to be, when I created them, they were Helvetica Arial. Whoops. And you do this here. Pick one of these 3 at all times. There we go. We can also make it larger. You decide on how large you'd like it to be so it looks good. And also, you know how to remove the border around the table. Then what I'd like you to do is to put in this information next to each one of these motorcycles. This is a BSA, this is a Royal Enfield, so use one of the files that you have in your zipped or unzipped file. So basically the student data files that you downloaded earlier, and put the images in here. You'll notice that this one will come in very, very, very large, much larger than, much larger than what I'm going to show you here, way larger. So what you can do is you can bring it down in size manually by grabbing onto these handles, but in order to have some consistency, what you should do is check on the size of the top one here if you think it's the right size, if you think it looks okay. Go to Image Properties, find the dimensions, 325 by 215 in my case. Yours will be different likely. That's okay. Then do the same thing with this one. Change the width to 325 in my case. So if yours was 350, change it to 350. And let the height change automatically. So I'm going to change it to 325 with constrained. And by doing that, I'll have the same, I'll have a height and width that are in relation to each other. Then put in this information. I will enlarge it so you can see it. Pause the video. And now that you've done that, why don't we take this and change how it appears. Let's change the alignment. Let's see how center would work here. By selecting the cell, going to Table Cell Properties, we're on Cell, which is where we want to be, and our horizontal alignment should be center. Apply it. There we go. You may decide that it looks better on the left or on the right. The same thing applies for top, middle, or bottom. Cells, content alignment, horizontal. Whoops, wrong one, sorry, vertical. Maybe you want it at the top. Maybe you want it at the middle or at the bottom. Okay, I want you to try that out. Since there was an extra enter here, that will play havoc with your text. So you want to make sure that you get rid of all extra lines within the cell. And this seems to work here. This would apply at the top too. Extra cells here, I'd want to get rid of them. The sure way to figure this out, I mean, I'm sure that it's working now, but it's to go over to your source to see where your insertion point is found. I guess I don't see my insertion point here, but it would be around here somewhere. And then I can see that there are no extra line breaks. There's one here at the end. Oops, so if I go back to normal, if I hit delete, it got rid of that extra one. It should have. Kind of made a mess here, but that's good. Okay, so that works. Also change the font to something consistent with the top one. Change the size if you think that's what you want to do. I didn't change the font, but you can do the same thing down here. Again, make sure that your table borders are gone, and don't forget to save your page. Now, before we go on any further, before we finish this video, what I'd like you to do is to create a hyperlink to an external site. So I'll change this to a little bit smaller size. It seems awfully big. So what I'm going to do is the BSA doesn't exist anymore, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this to a Bsa History Site. And to do this, what I'm going to do is I'll type something for more information, go to the Bsa History Site. I could have written this down a little bit better, I think, but in any case, I'm going to select what I'd like people to click on. Now I'm going to go up to link, and I'm going to throw in the page, and that's something that you would find if you were doing this for yourself. In this case, the link is, if it pastes here, there we go, I pasted it twice. It is HTTP, and you can read the rest. I'll pause the video. And how will it open? I'd like it to open up in a new tab so people don't actually leave my page. So it'll be in a new window as opposed to the other ones here. And a new window means either a whole new browser window, or depending on how your browser's set up, it might just be in a new tab, but it won't replace the window that was already open. And so that works, I can see. You'll want to test that out in a minute. The same thing here with Royal Enfields. We'll go to a site here. It's now made by a company in India. So Royal Enfield does exist, just not in their real original form. Again, I would change the font, the alignment of this, or I'll put to learn more again about I'll just put it in like this, not very fancy. I'll grab all of this, and again I'll add a link. You can copy and paste it if it was something you had in another browser window, but in my case it's just simply royalenfield.com with the HTTP : 2 backslashes, and again in a new window, and away we go. And that's all I'd like you to do for this particular site, is to have the classic and vintage motorcycles page here, have the British motorcycles page here. Oh, there's one thing I want you to do here at the end too, is also to get rid of this particular title at the top and to insert the appropriate title that I've already created for you, British motorcycles, the British.png file. We'll give it some text, alternate text. Let's call it British motorcycles. And let's see if the height and width jive pretty well, and it does. Maybe the colors aren't great to go with the blue, but in any event, that's what we have. And I'd like you to do the same thing with these 3 other pages, just the title. Don't worry about the rest here, other than, don't worry about the rest at all. Just make sure that your navigation links work and that your title here changed at the top. When you're completely done, make sure you save them all and compress all of your files, these 5 files, plus compress all of the images that you've used, and send them to me in the Dropbox as the web development assignment, the one after the Notepad one that you did with HTML. And then once you're done this, you should have a good foundation for creating your own website, but you'll also include a YouTube video, embed that into it. If you want to find some widgets and embed them into your page, that would be great. Audio, and other elements that you should look at the marking rubric and see what other elements are required so that you get all of your points. And with that, you know where to find me if you need some more help and you've tried this out and there's things that just aren't working. Let me know and I'll do what I can to help you out.